Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, where everything you're about to hear and see has been done in one take. I'm your host, the One Take Man. As of the time of this video's release, about a year ago, Mr. Beast, who has since become the youngest billionaire in history, or at least currently alive as far as I'm aware, uh, has released his his first actual TV series, which I believe was called Beast Games. And the main draw of this series was that it was a uh, a reality game show kind of thing with 1,000 contestants, like the biggest contestant pool any such show ever had. It has since gone on to become a somewhat notorious flop, to the point where there are a whole bunch of videos that talking about everything that went wrong behind the scenes or or in a variety of other places, with regards to it, and and what it failed to consider and all of that stuff. But I'm not here to talk about Mr. Beast, or if I am only here. He's only discussed so that I can set the stage to upstage him. Uh, but for the sake of this video, whereas the title will have already given away, I'm going to be talking about taking the premise of a game show with a ludicrous number of contestants and trying to make it better. I will be talking about Mr. Beast and Beast Games to the extent that I need to in order to set the mood. Anyway, the one video I did actually see of this fiasco was actually by Big Joel. Not sure if on his main channel or his Little Joel alternate. About where he talked about the various games themselves and how competitive they are, how interesting they are to view. And something I've noticed is that a lot of these games are basically you receive some money to leave now, or you hold out for a lot more money. Okay, there is some variance to that, because there are some games of skill, there are some games of luck, but still nothing particularly outstanding. There are also plenty of games that feature psychological manipulation, and a lot of people have commented that they're boring, or that they're uninspired, like literally here's some money, fuck off kind of thing. And some of you might think that, but I actually realized that these games unintentionally had a theme, and that theme was Protestant work ethic. As in, if you are able to keep your head down, do as you're told, and become a do your best to not stand out, to remain humble, so to speak, then you will be then you will win, and you will receive financial compensation. That is basically Protestant work ethic in a nutshell. Stay in your lane, do as you're supposed to do, and you will receive spiritual enrichment, or which somehow got translated into material abundance, because, well, corruption. Not in corruption. Some could argue it's the human nature. Some could argue it's just something that happens. Anyway, the point is, the real problem with Beast Games is actually the fact is actually theming. Is actually theming, because, as I said, the inadvertent theme is something that is pretty much meant to be boring, because it is meant to be because it is meant to emphasize it is meant to emphasize discipline. It is meant to emphasize diligence. And interesting as those facets may be in terms of spiritual salvation, they are not interesting for a they're not interesting for a TV show. So, what kind of theme would a game show featuring such a large number of contestants um, be? What kind of theme could such a game show really, really more effectively employ? And I thought for about 15 seconds about it, and realized that 1,000 people is a lot of people. It's basically a town's worth of people, and that was my theme: a town. Like the contestants are all together living within a makeshift town, so to speak, and a perhaps better realization of the Press and Work Ethic theme, and also something that would be more interesting for a television audience would be for the show itself to feature how this town works, or how these contestants pool their efforts together in order to make this, in order to make this concept of a town be effective, and therefore all the games, all the games would be themed around about making sure that the town receives the resources and services that it needs, and contestants would basically be judged on how effective they would be within this broader social context. And I'm also going to stick to it having a taking place over like 10 episodes, not necessarily 8 like Beast Games, but still I want it to have a similar runtime in terms of its length. The first episode would take place sometime after the 1,000 contestants have already settled in. So like they're all in their respective neighborhoods, doing their thing. The neighborhoods would be themed around various hobbies, so to speak, and they would all just be paid to sit there and sit there and enjoy themselves, basically. And then when the contest would basically start when the charismatic host, whoever that may be, tells the city residents that there is a storm coming, and that unfortunately the shelters that were the one major shelter of the town that was put in place only has enough room for 960 people. And the way to assess whether they are, whether someone will be allowed into the city or into this shelter is by finding one of 960 keys. So whoever finds them gets in, whoever doesn't gets left out. And there you go. First game, and interesting enough theme, you already have 40 people who are eliminated. Who are eliminated. I am considering potentially optionally having some kind of game with the people who are in the shelter themselves. Maybe having to build some kind of key or opening mechanism to the shelter doors. Though I imagine that might count as cruel and unusual punishment. So I'm just gonna float the option, but not necessarily indulge within it. But anyway, after a time, the storm will have lifted or have moved away from the city, and the 960 competitors will be allowed to leave the shelter. Unfortunately for them, some parts of the city will have been messed up. Or more particularly, there are 16 buildings or sections of buildings that need to be rebuilt. So these 960 people are divided into teams of 60 to go ahead with these repairs, and they are assigned their various repairs, and they have to various buildings that they have to repair, in whatever form that may take, and and a team that manages to takes longest to complete their work ends up getting eliminated. That is all still episode 1, by the way. And now we get to after doing this particular, and after going through these games, which I think will cover like the first half of the episode, we move on to the main game, which sees the 900 competitors split into six parties, each each of 150 members. And these parties would be grouped, I imagine, by color, from black, red, yellow, green, blue, white. These are the six parties that that would exist within this town, and the various the various party members will have will have a week to figure out their own leadership structure. That is a president, deputy president, as well as chair people for 8 committees. Those 8 committees would be things that a small town typically needs. So stuff like roads, housing, education, sanitation. Anyway, you get the gist. I wanted to come up with more examples, but I'm kind of drawing a blank here. Didn't sleep enough yet last night. Anyway, so each party has to come up with these these 10 people, committee chiefs, and then president, deputy president, and also come up with candidates for the position of mayor, deputy mayor, and leaders of such committees on a citywide level. On a citywide level, they have to come up with they have to assemble themselves. So within this week, they have to put themselves together, pick out their pick out a leadership, and pick out candidates for the broader leadership of the entire town. And when the time comes for them to vote, to make sure that not everyone just votes for their own party, they'll be given ballots that have every other party on them, but not their own. And that's how they go on to vote over the course of a day or a few hours, depending. And then the episode would conclude with the votes being tallied up, or at least the votes from the 900 contestants still in the game. Once those votes will have been tallied up, however, the first major twist of this game show would come up, and the fact that the contestants who have been eliminated are still in the town. They still decide, they still have, they still get to spend time there. They still get to they still get to notice what impact everything they everything else the people do, everything else the remaining contestants do would actually have. And from this position, and these 100 contestants, who will have already been eliminated within the first episode, get to also have gotten to also submit their vote. And with the combined votes from both the eliminated contestants and the ones still in the running, a certain party will win, and therefore give and therefore make sure that its contestants ascend to their position, ascend to the position of mayor, deputy mayor, and all the various and the chair people of the various committees. The party that ended up in last place will be entirely eliminated, and everyone else will basically just still be in the game. So there we go. By the end of the first episode, we have a whole bunch of people who have already been eliminated, some front runners, and still a sizable chunk of potential contestants who are still in the running, so to speak. From that point forward, the following 8 episodes would all have, would all consist of one huge game that would be themed around one of these 8 committees that chair people have been appointed for. And I imagine I think it would be some kind of a relay contest where where the contestants will have to, for example, on the day about roads, they would have to they would have to find or tag various roads, as well as potentially do some do some work on them, fill out potholes, stuff like that. When it comes to sanitation, they might have to either build a hospital or sort various color coded medical supplies or medical equipment wherever it is most appropriate for them to do so. Stuff these kinds of things. And I am toying around with the idea of having the and these games would be contested by teams that are appointed from within the individual party. Whichever party team wins gets to I think gets to have. I'm deliberating on two models here. Either gets to have immunity, in which case or gets to have immunity, in which case they would not be they would not be in danger of being voted out at the episode's end, because I'm considering doing that. Or the winning party would just or the winning party team would be the only team of all the contestants to survive, to make it, stay in the competition. Actually, I think I'm gonna stick with that. A more meritocratic example, because I think it ups the stakes and makes the individual games more more interesting or more impactful as they progress. And once that is done, I haven't really figured out. I imagine each of these games would require something like it would require something like 15 competitors from each party, which means that at most a party could could potentially lose up to 120 people. But of course they could also. But of course any party can also win a few games. So it's likely they won't. So it's likely no party will actually lose that many people until the end. And then in the final episode, I kind of see it as twofold. First of all, there would be another vote to start the episode. One that would eliminate one of the 5 remaining parties altogether, and thereby leaving 4 to contend with the final game, so to speak, where they have to look internally within themselves and pick out one person that they would vote as mayor of this town, and therefore vote as the winner of the entire competition, or as their candidate for the winner of the competition. And after all 4 parties will have appointed their leaders, then the rest of the town would vote for the winner from among these 4 people. That is basically my very broad outline as of this very moment. If someone with a lot of money thinks my idea makes some sense, then feel free to contact me. I love to find out what it is you can what it is we can work out. Even though I know that's kind of unlikely, but a guy can dream. Anyway, that was it for this week. So thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed my pitch for a for a 1,000 contestant game show, well then please like the video, maybe even share it wherever you think other people will also like the video. If there is anything you would like to if there's anything you'd like to add, either to the reality show itself or to to my pitch more specifically, well then that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe, and ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. I also have a main channel where I talk about the print medium and selected works therein, so if that sounds interesting to you, I suggest you go ahead and check it out. It's in the description down below, right past my social media links, which I also suggest you check out should you choose to. If, however, you are less than interested in my thoughts on the print medium, then I suggest you stay on this channel and go through my extensive backlog of either various TV show pitches, but also reviews, retrospectives, or occasional stuff where I talk about or occasional other stuff, commentaries, gameplay, etc. If that doesn't interest you either, then I suggest you go ahead and do whatever you want the rest of your day, because it is your day after all. And yeah, now I'm done. That was all I had to say. So until next time, I have been the One Take Man.